on the Bobby Bones Show now.
Chris Lane.
Chris, what's up, buddy?
How are you?
Good to see you. I guess I don't know. I see you on social media a lot, and I feel like, and then I saw you in the parking lot a few weeks ago. It's weird. Social media is weird because you feel like you kind of stay in touch with people. And I guess you and I will text and miss each other about playing pickleball about once every 2 weeks. It's like, hey, are you in town? Nope. All right. Gonna see if you want to play pickleball.
I know.
So, yeah, I feel like I've seen you, but we really haven't hung out or anything. But everything's good?
Everything's good, man. Just
Social media says you're good, and social media doesn't lie. So
That's true. That's true.
I ran into Chris and his wife and kids. My wife and I did. We were in the parking lot of a place, and so we hung out and talked for a while. And we naturally did the junior high dance move where the boys went to one side,
and the girls went.
and the girls went to the other side. And
That is true.
And we were all like talking. Yeah, what's family life like now? Kids are older.
Yeah, it's good. Dutton's 3. Baker is about to turn 2 in about 10 days. And then Dutton's in school. We just did parent-teacher conferences yesterday, which
How
were
was
very
that
funny.
for the first time?
They were great. They spoke very highly of him. They said he was a silent leader in class and that he's really good at following directions. And I'm like, man, I'm glad he's doing that at school because he's terrible at that at home.
Who's the rule follower in your family?
Lauren. Her and her dad are too much of a rule follower. Like, it drives me crazy because I don't break rules, but I don't, like, follow them. You know what I mean?
Well, so
Maybe you just don't.
is that breaking them?
Well, I would
Technically
say
breaking them.
Bends them.
Yes, that's the best word. I've been them a little bit.
there are times where I will not learn the rules on purpose. So therefore, if I don't follow them, it's not because I didn't break them. I just never knew them. So maybe that's what you are. You create your own path because you didn't know how to drive a car.
Why didn't I say it like that?
Yeah, that's what I always say.
Exactly.
When they're like, did you know you did this wrong? I'm like, no. Tell me more.
Yeah.
I want to talk about the new song, first of all. Because like, you got two sort of. You got a single that's climbing the charts, but you also have this new song called If I Die Before You. So I'm going to let you, you ever have those books back as a kid where it's like choose your own adventure? Which one would you like to talk about first? You want to do Find Another Bar?
Yeah, we can talk about that
Okay.
one since that one's on
I'm
the
going
chart
to
right
play
now.
it. Yeah, I'm going to play it. So tell me
yeah.
about Find Another Bar.
Yeah, so I feel like everybody kind of got to know me as the love song guy over the years, you know, with I Don't Know About You, Take Back Home Girl, For Her, Big Plans all in a row there. And I kind of just felt like it was time to do something different, show people a different side of me. Obviously, I've been through heartbreak in my life, so it's something I can easily sing about and relate to. And I just felt like this was my take on a breakup song that I felt like there's been a million breakup songs, but I feel like this one was different in a little different way.
I always like when artists, writers, creators try to find a new way to say the same thing. And I think that's the constant in song creation, even in writing books or anything. It's love, heartbreak, loss. There are these certain fundamental elements, and it's how do you approach and talk about it in a different way, right? But we've not heard a song about how somebody broke up with you and you killed them. Have you guys thought about that?
No.
No? I don't know, just a different way to think about it, you know? Or like you stalked them.
Guys,
but
we
I guess
could be the first here.
I know,
I
yeah,
think
yeah,
you're
yeah.
onto something.
And your song wasn't that, but I was thinking, like, how do you approach a love song?
The look on Amy's
You do that, Chris.
Right? Have you ever thought?
I haven't.
Just trying to think of like
I
different.
haven't thought of it.
Your hair's longer. I didn't recognize you standing in there. I was like, who's the hobo?
I know. I got
It looks
grown.
good. No, it looks good.
I can't decide. Like, my wife wants it short. I prefer it a little bit longer. You know, I can cut it shorter the older I get, but
Well,
right
isn't
now,
that kind of both? Because it's like short on the side, long in the back.
that's
I
true.
mean, it's almost a mullet.
Yeah,
They're
it's
both.
kind. Yeah, it's kind of in between.
Did you ever have a mullet? Because you're from the South. I'm from the South. Everybody had a mullet at some point. Did you ever have a good one?
Yeah. Honestly, it's about like it is now. I kept it a little more tame. I can't go super long. Like, that wouldn't be my vibe. But where it's at right now is I probably wouldn't let it get much longer. But it's in the shape of one, kind of.
When did you start playing music, and then when did it get serious? And I want to ask how that relates to, because I know you're an athlete as well. So what age did you start learning that you like music as far as to play? And then when did you go, I'm committed to this?
Yeah. I loved music, you know, growing up. I loved singing along to the radio. But as a sports guy, my brother and I both, we were just football, baseball, basketball in season. That's all we did. And so it wasn't until I was graduating college I had to go back for one class to graduate in that half year, so 4.5 years I graduated. And during the downtime, we didn't have baseball anymore. You know, I was done with my 4 years. I started learning how to play the guitar, and I became very passionate about that. I'd been to a ton of Kenny Chesney concerts, Keith Urban concerts, and honestly, watching Keith just made me want to learn how to play the guitar, and it kind of grew into a passion.
Did you ever sing,
from
though,
there.
before you started playing guitar?
No, I mean, just
Publicly?
just along with the radio.
Yeah.
So my last semester, I got good enough on the guitar that I could just play 3 or 4 songs, and I would go to this open mic night right there by the college, and all the fraternities, sororities, all my baseball guys would come up there and hang out, and people would really encourage me. I would do this little medley that had a bunch of hip-hop songs in it, and people seemed to like that a lot, and then I would cover like a Aldine song and an Eric Church song. And people would just encourage me, that, man, you should try to do something with this. So after I graduated, I moved back to Kernersville, North Carolina, where I grew up at, and just started putting a lot of work into it, driving people crazy, trying to sing and play at the same time. You know,
Which is very hard to do.
yeah. When you're first trying to figure out the guitar, it's hard to sing and strum at the same time. But I think being an athlete kind of helped me learn a little bit quicker on that. And once I learned one song, man, I became so passionate about music. I just wanted to learn all of my favorite songs, and that eventually led me into starting a band. Back then, it was the Chris Lane Band. I didn't put much thought into it, as I had no idea that would ever lead to a record deal, but
So
pretty crazy.
Why did you get on stage the very first time? I know you were playing, but that's a big move to not spend years as a kid learning music and just like, I'm going to play guitar, but now I'm going to go get on stage where people can hear me sing. I don't know. Do you feel like you were called just to get on stage? Were you nervous? Did you feel like you were going to do it once and then realize maybe you didn't want to do it?
I think the first time I got on stage, I was certainly very nervous.
Why would you even do it the first time?
I don't know. I think I just was so passionate about it and having so much fun just playing in my bedroom every day.
And no shyness, huh? No.
And I just kind of, like I said, I was getting encouragement from the people that would watch me play those 3 songs every Wednesday night at open mic night. And
That's cool.
yeah,
People were building you up.
Yeah, they were building me up. So I kind of just ran with that a little bit. But yeah, first show, I was incredibly nervous.
Could you sing?
I was shaky like the first 4 songs, and then I relaxed in. And after that night, I had so much fun. I was like, man, I want to do this every night for the rest of my life. So I just continued to put the work in it, got some guys in the band that could actually play really well. And there for years in North Carolina, I just grinded it out and got to the point to where I could play, 4 or 5 shows a week. Mostly covers.
Yeah, of course, especially when you first start out.
Yeah, and then I started writing my own music, which eventually led me to getting a record deal and moving to Nashville, because I'd never even been to Nashville prior to getting all my first meetings.
Well, you didn't come a bunch of times, and that's a weird order of it happening. How did they find you then? Who found you?
So I think some of the William Morris agents started flying out to watch some shows, and word got around, because what had happened was, much like Brantley Gilbert and some of these guys, I had built up a massive Southeast following. So not just in North Carolina, but I was able to go out into like Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, and I was able to sell out the same rooms that a lot of the guys from Nashville who had songs on the radio would come play. So I think that's eventually how I ended up with the record deal, is people started flying out saying, who is this guy doing it all on his own, and selling out the same venues.
And that's pretty cool that's how it happened. And because rarely does someone have people come to them and go, hey, we really like you. We'd like to offer you some sort of plan to have a record deal, but you've never been to Nashville. Most of the story is even people that are awesome have to come here.
Oh, yeah.
And you would probably recommend people, you need to go to Nashville, because that's kind of how it happens.
100%.
So, but you built it up by just playing a whole bunch of shows. What was the first song? I'm going to make you go back into the depths of your brain here. What was the first song you ever played publicly on a microphone? Like, what would have been the one you were so comfortable with that you thought, I can do this? My very first song, I'm going to perform this.
Like just cover song?
Yeah, a cover song that you ever did in front of people, like at one of these open mics.
Wow, that's a great question. I know it was either Aldine Hicktown.
Is that an easy one to play, like chord-wise?
No.
Oh.
I was terrible at playing it. I'm still terrible at playing. Sometimes I go back and I'm like, oh, I could not figure this song out before because it's like got bar chords.
Yeah,
in
if you're like throwing F's in there, for me it'd be like Smash Mouth. I'm a believer, but like the Monkees, because it's like this, it's just CG the whole time. But you're like going bar chords.
If I could see a video of my performance of that song, I'd be on my knees dying laughing.
That's pretty funny.
And then an Eric Church song. I can't tell you what it is. Maybe your love your love the most or something like that. But I remember playing that song a lot. Could have been a Keith Urban song too. I mean,
yeah, he's trying to play solos. Yeah. He's like, I tackled a Keith Urban solo and
shredding.
I look back and it wasn't that good. Your brother is your twin brother, and you guys look very similar because you are twins. Are you guys real? Are you the twins that come out? What's that called?
Fraternal?
I don't know. You're in the same
identical.
You're like in the same bunk.
Paternal.
Isn't that what it's called?
identical.
Yeah, but then what's the other one?
Oh yeah.
Where you live in different bunks.
Fraternal.
That's the order
Maybe
of
Ray
police.
knows.
Is it with an F or a P?
So which one? You and your brother are identical twins.
Identical. Yep.
Did he do music when you did, or did he see you were doing music and was like, hey, I also should learn how to do music?
Yeah, that's kind of exactly what happened. I think he was experiencing some FOMO of me being out there playing music in front of peeps, even though it was just a few songs on those Wednesday nights. But he bought an electronic drum set and started learning how to play on that. And he was like, I'll just start learning how to play the drums, and we should start doing something together. So I was like, all right. So he just sat down, started learning how to play the drums, was really bad for a very long time, like I was on the guitar. And this is actually a funny story, but when I got a record deal, he was still really bad in comparison to guys you would get in Nashville who just crushed back there. He had a lot of learning to do. So when I eventually signed there at Big Loud, which was at the time kind of what Florida Georgia Line had done, it was just a publishing, production, and management deal. They wanted me to hire somebody from Nashville, which I think they had kind of had to do with the FGL as well. But I'm like, this is my twin brother, man. There's no way I can do this to him. Like, he's put so much work in. I think he'll eventually get there. And he put a lot of hard work in over the years to get to where he is now, which is great. He's great back there. He still keeps time like sneakers in a dryer, but we make it through the show. All right.
That's a funny
awesome.
term. Sneakers in a dryer.
Yeah.
That's a pretty funny term. You're going out with the Flats. That's awesome.
Oh my gosh!
Like
yes,
they were
just
in.
announced.
They're friends of mine, and I'm super happy and screaming for a year for them to get back together. And I saw that you're going out with them. That's really exciting.
Man, huge. It's huge for me. I'm very excited. I toured with those guys back in 2017, I believe it was, right when I had Fix Out, my very first song. Kelsey Ballerini was a part of that tour as well. I was the first of three, but I got to know them really well, spent time with all of them, and just became great friends. We still kept in touch all these years later, and now, I'm with Jay.
On his record label.
On his record label, and he kept telling me that they were considering going back out. And I'm like, man, at all costs, I've got to be a part of this tour, because I was a part of the 20th anniversary tour as direct support when COVID happened, and we didn't get to happen.
Yeah.
And I felt like I was on, I don't want to call it a rocket ship, but I was definitely going into the peak of my career at that point, coming off of big plans at the time. So it would have been an incredible moment to be a part of that tour. So I'm so thankful that they asked me to come back out and be a part of this 25th anniversary. I cannot wait to tour with those guys.
That's going to be fun. That's going to be just the vibe and the energy of the crowd is going to be fun.
I agree.
And they haven't been broken up for 20 years, but it feels that way.
Yeah.
And so everybody's going to react that way. Like, they're back together. Oh, my God. And it's like, yeah, we were fine.
One of the funniest things that I remember when I first toured with them is I would give Gary a random word every single night, and he always had to find a way to sing it into a song. And I have to give my man credit. The first word I ever gave him, it's a stupid word, but I said raccoon. I'm like, there's no way he could literally sing this into a song. not only did he use the word raccoon in a song, but he proceeded to use it in every single song that he sang for the rest of the night.
That's funny.
No,
Like, give it. How would he do it?
broken road. They brought the raccoon to
I think
you.
the first song he used it in was they were singing "I Wish I Could Rewind." He was like, "I wish I had a raccoon," but he would do a bunch of runs
And
on
the crowd's
it.
like, what?
Yeah,
I know,
what is
no.
he doing?
They're like, I'm not sure what he just said. So Chris has got some dates of his own: Waco, Akron, Ohio, Lexington, Birmingham, Alabama, Buffalo, and Rochester, all the way through November of this year. So you get tickets at iamchrislane.com. Then the Life is a Highway tour, which is coming up with Rascal Flatts. I still like the song Fix. Like, that hits. It's a jam.
Appreciate
give
that.
me a story about Fix.
Yeah, so Fix was I had a much different sound at the time. I had just put out a song called Broken Windshield View. I was out on tour with Florida Georgia Line at that time. And I kind of had to wait to record songs because they were going to go in and record their second record, so...
Only one studio in town? You guys are like,
Well, we
it's
had
like
this-
a bathroom at home. I gotta wait.
I had the same producer.
Got it.
So I kind of, they were on a rocket ship. I had to wait my turn in line, essentially. And so this song got pitched to me by Jesse Frazier, Sarah Buxton at the time. It was really different.
What do you mean? Like, melody-wise, was it different?
Yeah, just super melodic. Had a lot of falsetto in it. Something I'd never done in any song. I was the songs that I sang when I was doing covers were always, those Eric Church songs, the Aldine songs.
Pretty low.
Yeah.
Ish, mid to
Yeah,
low.
just a little more rugged.
Yeah.
And I kind of had like a growl in my sound there in North Carolina. So even just for my Chris Lane Band recordings, which are hilarious to listen back to now, I'm like, oh my God, I couldn't sing a lick. This was the first time I just tried this song in the studio, and I remember my producer turning around and he was like, who is this guy and where has this guy been? I've never heard you sing a song like that before. So they kind of wanted to shift and do something like that because they felt like that's what I sounded best with. And that was the first song that really popped off for me at the time.
Were you on tour with Flats when that song was a hit?
I was. I had my first number one while I was on tour with them.
And
Sure
so,
did.
how many would you have? 15, 20 minutes, or were you middle support? Were you main support?
No, I was 25 minutes, first of three. Kelsey Ballerini was a part of that.
25 minutes is solid, though. That's a big opening time. When I opened for them, they gave me 3 minutes, and I didn't even go on stage. I had to do it only in the bathroom as they walk by. It's very annoying. So, what's the Rascal Flatts Fix story?
Oh yeah. So when I was touring with those guys, they would do, they would go do their interview first. Kelsey would do hers, and then I would go in and do mine. They told this story, and those guys, they can make anything believable, and they feed off of each other, and they're very good at it. So they told this story about how they were so proud of me and everything that I had overcome, that they were, honored to have me out on their tour. And that my song, and the person who's interviewing them, they're like, what exactly are you talking about? What did he overcome? They're like, you didn't hear? He's singing about it in his song Fix. He had a really bad meth addiction where he lost his teeth. And as part of a end of the tour gift, we're going to give him a new set of teeth. And he's like overcoming, like just all this stuff. And they made it really believable. So I get into my interview. I have no clue that they've done this. And the girl's like asking me about it. And I'm like, are you trying to punk me right now? Is this? And she's like, well, Rascal Flatts just told me about everything that you've overcome. And I'm like, what? So she plays it for me. And I'm like, oh my God, I cannot believe they did that. It was very funny. So from there on out, every tour stop, it turned into them making up stories about me and me making up stories about them. It was so much fun.
That is funny.
Sounds
And
dangerous.
I actually learned.
It does sound dangerous because eventually it gets to a point where it's like,
He murdered someone.
Gary LeVox and Diddy were best friends.
Exactly.
Like the feds
good.
start coming in.
Yeah. It's like, him and Epstein used to fly together. Like, it just gets to a place where it's like not. Yes, that's funny. You still go to Planet Fitness and just work out with the random folks?
Man, I do on the road, yes. But here at the house, I work out at my country club.
Dang, look at
That's
this
cool.
guy.
That's cool.
Hey, hey, what a flex!
That's awesome.
What a flex!
The CC.
He wouldn't say, "No, I go to a special." He goes, "No, I might be just a small town boy from North Carolina, but I got a country club now. Once you have 3 number ones, you get a country club." Well, look at you, frou-frou. Do you drink your tea with the pinky out while you're doing your curls, or what?
Gotta have the pinky out, man.
Dang, look at this guy. Let's talk about the song that just came out, "If I Die Before You." So I don't know what you like about this song when you heard it.
Oh my gosh, everything there is to like about a song I loved about this one. This is going to be one of those songs that I wish I had written. It took 2 years or a year and a half to 2 years for this song to make its way to me because there were other artists who had it. So when it got played for me on accident, I fell in love with everything about the song, but then realized I couldn't have it because somebody else was recording it. So I had to wait this song out for a year and a half. I prayed so hard that it would eventually find its way back to me, and it did. And I feel like this is I'm praying that it is, but I feel like this is a career-changing type song.
We're going to play it now. Here is "If I Die Before You" from Chris Lane. Chris, it is always good to see you, buddy.
Great to see you as well, bud.
And one day, Chris and I are just a relationship of, hey, are you in town? Nope.
Yeah.
That's it. It's one after the other. You in town? Nope.
At some point, we're going to play
At some
pickleball.
point, yeah, we're going to be at the same place at the same time. Yeah, really rooting for you. Congrats on everything with Jay and the new record deal.
Thank you, brother.
And congrats on this song. This is the new one from Chris Lane. Just came out. It's called "If I Die Before You." Here, Bobby Bone Show.